Most people want to build wealth through property, but very few understand how all pieces fit together. People often say, I've got 300,000 in equity and now I'm ready to invest. But the real question is how much of that equity is usable. It's not just about income, it's about clean structure and predictable cash flow. A simple, proven framework that shows how 3 well-chosen properties can build lasting wealth without overstretching or relying on the luck. How do you actually unlock that equity without overextending yourself? Finance structure grows with you instead of holding you back. No hype, no guesswork, just clarity and structure. Hey guys, my name is Mishal and welcome to Smart Property Moves by FPW Group. Now, we started this channel because after working with hundreds of investors, one thing became obvious. Most people want to build wealth through property, but very few understand how all pieces fit together, right? People know how to buy a house, some even buy an investment property, but they don't always know how to use that first property to build the next one and how to structure loans properly or how banks actually look at the numbers, right? So this channel is about education and logic, helping you understand how property finance and wealth creation truly connect. No hype, no guesswork, just clarity and structure. And today we are starting with the foundation, the 3 property plan, a simple proven framework that shows how 3 well-chosen properties can build lasting wealth without overstretching or relying on the luck. By the end of this video, you will see how this plan works step by step and how it can put you in a control of your financial future. How does this look in real life, right? So think of your portfolio like a 3-stage engine. Each stage has a job and together they build lasting momentum. Stage number 1, the foundation property. This is your base, okay? Maybe your own home or first investment property. Its job is stability and capital growth. You buy in an area with steady demand, population, jobs, infrastructure, right? This property builds your first layer of equity. For example, you buy in Brisbane for 700,000, right? A few years later, it's worth 900,000. That 200,000 in equity becomes the tool that powers your next move. Stage number 2, the leverage property. Okay, once the foundation builds equity, you can use a portion of the equity for your next deposit. Your 900,000 home with a 540k loan has an 80% lend limit of 720,000, giving you 180,000 in usable equity. Releasing 100,000 lets you buy roughly a 500,000 investment. You just turn one performing asset into 2 that are both growing. Stage 3, the balancer property. By this stage, you understand your finances and comfort level, right? The third property balances the portfolio, maybe a high yield asset to boost cash flow or a strong growth area to build future equity. Okay, together, these 3 form a cycle. Okay, the first creates the equity, the second recycles it, and the third stabilizes it, right? That's what turns 3 properties into a self-sustaining wealth engine. Now, this part is crucial because the entire plan depends on finance. Okay, people often say, I've got 300,000 in equity and now I'm ready to invest. But the real question is how much of that equity is usable. Usable equity is what a lender is willing to let you access after accounting for your current debt, right? Most banks cap lending at 80% of your property value. For example, if your home is worth 900,000, 80% is 720,000. If your current loan is 540,000, your usable equity ceiling is 180,000. That's only a part of the story, right? The other part is serviceability, right? How the bank assesses your ability to repay. They don't test you at the current rate. They add another 3% on a buffer, right? If you're paying 6%, they'll test you on 9%. That means your income, existing debt, credit card debt, and even declared living expenses all affect how much you can borrow, right? For example, 2 clients earning the same 120,000 salary can end up 200,000 apart in borrowing power if one has a car loan and higher expenses while the other keeps things lean, okay? Understanding how banks see you lets you plan smarter. okay? It's not just about income, it's about clean structure and predictable cash flow. That's why savvy investors review their finances every 12 to 18 months. Even if their property is performing, their lending position can shift. When you start thinking like the lender, you can then build the property portfolio like an investor, not a speculator. So once you have understood how equity and lending capacity work, the next question becomes, how do you actually unlock that equity without overextending yourself, okay? That's where refinancing steps in. Refinancing isn't about chasing a cheaper rate. It's about aligning your structure for growth. As your property's value increases, your loan balance drops, your equity position changes. A refinance allows you to split loans, set up offset, adjust terms, or release capital for your next purchase. For example, a $600,000 loan refinance from 6.2% to 5.7% saves a few $100s a month. That saving can live in an offset account or help you fund your next deposit. If a new valuation shows higher equity, the refinance might unlock funds for property number 2 or property number 3 without increasing the strain, right? The goal isn't constant refinancing. It's refinancing at the right time so your finance structure grows with you instead of holding you back. Okay. Once your finance is in shape and you can access usable equity, the next step is deciding when to deploy that capital. Here's where investors either create long-term success or trap themselves in the flat market. We at FPW focus on consistency over hype. A quick framework we use is number 1 is population growth. Okay. Essentially, we want to buy where people would like to move in, not moving out. Okay. Second, we have employment nodes, okay? Basically, local jobs equal tenant demand. Then we have infrastructure pipeline. For example, transport, schools, hospital, all of these things drive value up, okay? Then we want to look at vacancy rate. Anything under 2% is considered to be very healthy, okay? Then we look at housing diversity. For example, 600,000 townhouses in Brisbane, right? Suburb A, New Rail Link, 1% vacancy rate, limited supply. Suburb 3 has 3% vacancy rate and 1,000 new approvals, okay? Same price, completely different future. Suburb A keeps tightening, Suburb B stagnates. And that's the logic behind buying performance, not the postcode. Once you have shortlisted your suburb, the next decision is what kind of property you want to buy. Should you go for the newer property or the established one? Okay, each plays a different role. New or near new properties are great for cash flow. You have lower maintenance, strong tenant appeal, and better depreciation, usually around 2.5% per year on the build and sometimes 4% on the new project. The trade-off, however, is that you are paying a premium for brand new stock, okay? So capital growth can be slower in the early years, okay? Established properties, on the other hand, are usually land heavy and located in proven suburbs, okay? They don't give you as many tax write-off, but land component drives stronger long-term growth, okay? A simple way to think about it is if you're early in your journey and want easier holding power, start with the newer property for yield, okay? If you already have a stable income or equity and want to build wealth faster, go for an established one with good land value. Many smart investors blend the two, okay? One property that grows, another one that pays the bill, okay? That mix keeps your portfolio balanced across both growth and income. Once you know what to buy, the next step is understanding how the money actually works. Cash flow is what's left after rent and expenses, right? Tax decides what you really keep, okay? For example, your property earns $30,000 in rent and costs $28,000 in interest and expenses, okay? You are taxed only on $2,000, not $30,000, okay? If you run a small loss, that can offset other income and reduce your tax bill. The goal, however, isn't to chase losses or big profit. It's to build a portfolio that funds itself and quietly grows equity in the background. Now, understand this. Even the best plan fails without good risk management. Property moves in cycle. You can't control that, but you can control how prepared you are. Keep at least 6 months of repayments in your offset. Do not max out your borrowing. Stick with areas tenants actually want to live in, okay? And review your loans, rates, and buffer every year. Now, you may ask, what's the end game here? 3 solid properties, diversified, well-financed, cash flow balance will give you options. For example, by your late 50s or 60s, you can hold all the 3 properties and live off the rent, okay? Or sell 1 to clear the debt on the others, or sell 2 and keep 1 property debt-free. 2 paid-off homes earning $700 a week each is roughly $70,000 in rental income gross before super, okay? That's real asset-backed retirement built on structure and not speculation. So that's 3 property plan, a simple structured path to long-term wealth, okay? Now, you can absolutely do all of this yourself, okay? All the information we covered today, from understanding equity to picking the right suburb, it's all out there, okay? But here's the reality. It takes years of experience, countless hours of research, and a fair bit of trial and error to get it right, okay? We have seen people make one mistake, buying the wrong area, or pay for property, or structure the loans poorly, and it ends up costing them years of progress, okay? That's why having someone who does this day in and day out makes a lot of difference, okay? At FPW Group, we specialize in sourcing investment-grade properties, structuring finance the right way, and guiding clients through each stage, so you are not just buying a property, you are building a portfolio with purpose, right? If you would like to explore how this could work for you, you can book a call with one of our consultants using the link in the description below, right? We'll help you understand where you stand today, how much equity you can use, and what kind of property could best fit your long-term plan, right? Even if you're not ready to buy right now, getting clarity early on can save you a lot of time, money, and guesswork later. If you found this video helpful, hit the subscribe to Smart Property Moves by FPW Group, because in the next few videos, we'll dive deeper into suburb selection, deal analysis, and long-term portfolio strategy, right? So yeah, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.